Predictive lead scoring. We're going to be talking about, increased sales team morale, better leads, less wasted time, endless segmentation. I'll be addressing if this is all actually fact or fiction, how to make this actually happen. Predictive lead scoring. Oh, we're going to be talking about how increased sales team morale, better leads. How do I have my time? Oh my gosh, I had my audio crossover. Sorry about that. But we'll talk about how this actually can work. How, if you actually have to spend $40,000 a year to do predictive lead scoring, like some of these companies are selling their software solutions for, and some tools that you might be able to use that also use it, and how you can build some of this stuff yourself. What problems people run into in doing this. I've run a lot of sales teams in my career. I've managed hundreds of salespeople over the last, 15 years or so. I've been involved in organizations that have worked with thousands of salespeople, and I'm going to kind of go over how this can actually happen. So let's get into it. So predictive lead scoring is one of the most powerful tools in sales. If you could figure out if a lead is going to buy what you're selling in advance before they've even bought, you're going to make your sales team really happy. And there's a lot of companies that are selling solutions to this. We have HubSpot, we have Microsoft, we have Clay, we have Lean Data, and we have a number of other companies that are selling packages for as much as, $40,000 a freaking year. Okay. Now, the question is it really worth that amount of money? Okay. And frankly, predictive lead scoring is very misunderstood. The first thing we need to understand is what is the difference between predictive lead scoring and traditional lead scoring, and is AI actually going to lead to an increase in anything we're doing here? So let's go into this. So now traditional, what it looks like on the ground is traditional lead scoring. Let me bring this up here. Traditional lead scoring is where you just segment. Well, let's start with predictive scoring. Predictive scoring is where you actually create a number and you segment leads in a gray zone. So maybe they have a little budget, maybe they have a little intent, and you're mixing and matching factors, and you're not disqualifying people necessarily off of any individual factor. But what you're doing is you're kind of creating a correlation report. Now, standard lead segmentation is simply having clear questions in your forms, in your lead forms, and disqualifying people. It's a binary decision, yay or nay. Do they have the money? If they say they don't have money, you kick them out. Whereas predictive lead scoring is trying to sum up all factors and not necessarily disqualifying people on any particular thing. And what I'm showing here is actually one of my type forms where we collect leads for my mentorship program. I have an affiliate marketing mentorship program where we ask people a number of questions, to see if they're interested in my mentorship program, to be an affiliate marketer. I made tens of millions of dollars as an affiliate marketer, and I still continue to earn a ton of money to this day with affiliate marketing. But we, look at various factors to see if people are a good fit for the program. So we don't want to just rank leads. Now, my opinion on this, folks, is you should be disqualifying people based on, you should be able to ask the right questions to see if somebody is a good fit or not a good fit. It's not a gray zone. Predictive lead scoring operates on the idea that this is all a gray zone. Now, predictive lead scoring is great for companies that have highly limited information they're receiving. Maybe you're buying leads from a lead broker or a lead seller, and you really don't have, you're working with these third parties and you really don't have enough information and you don't have control over your own marketing to figure out if a lead is actually good. Now, later on, I'm going to go into how we can actually enrich data and also the problems that come with enriching data. Because if you have limited information, there are ways to get a lot more information. I'm going to talk about soft credit pulls. I'm going to talk about stuff like this and APIs in just a little bit. And the other case where predictive lead scoring will actually be beneficial is for these companies that operate with what I call risks and probabilities. Okay. Now, what type of companies operate in this kind of zone of risks and probabilities? Well, the types of companies, so we said, who does it work for? Limited data, right? Leads coming from third parties. And this gray zone data, and what I mean by that, companies with, if you're collecting leads based on risk factors, such as lending companies, okay, or such as insurance companies, okay. Now, predictive lead scoring is going to work well for these cases because, again, with insurance, you can't necessarily fully disqualify people maybe on one factor. It's kind of an amalgamation of factors. And same thing with lending companies. You're looking at kind of what is the probability you're going to get paid off on this loan. But frankly, a lot of this can be solved with organizing your data better and asking the right questions when you're doing lead forms. And just hello to everyone in the live audience. How's it going? Can I get some likes and get some reactions? I'll have time for Q&A at the end where, we'll just be going over some more stuff, some advanced stuff, some really exciting stuff related to lead scoring. Most companies operate off of leads, so this is a fascinating thing. Now let's get into this. Let me bring up one of my actual forms to show you guys what it actually looks like. Here we go. So the factors that we want to actually, the question is, how do we get better data from our leads? How do we organize data better? How do we ask the right questions? Okay. How do we get the right data to make decisions? Because whether or not we're using predictive lead scoring or just sort of standard lead scoring, binary, where we're saying, no, you're not a good fit based on a response, or yes, you are a good fit. How do we get better data? And the bigger question is, how do we ask better questions? Okay. Now, this is the key. In marketing, we don't want to add too much inertia in our funnels. Because if we have to ask a million questions, then what we're doing is we're going to ultimately lower our conversion rate. If there's a better way to get the information we need with asking fewer questions, then that's good. Now, there are cases where we'd want to actually ask a ton of questions. Maybe I'm looking for somebody in the audience that's interested in working for me. And maybe I'll just make the form really long just to boil out all the folks that aren't really motivated. So I'd ask like 100 questions just to see if somebody makes it to the end of the form, then I know they're highly motivated. And the questions don't really matter. It's just I'm forcing people to spend extra time in a funnel. So I'm trying to add inertia in that case as a selection mechanism. Okay. Or sometimes you might ask other questions in your form, additional ones that don't have a disqualifier, because we're actually trying to help sell the person on the product itself. It's like, what are the reasons why you're interested in, you know, my mentorship or something like that? What are the reasons you're interested? Tell me why you need a business loan. And maybe you just ask that question multiple times, multiple ways. So how do we ask better questions? Well, I go by the BANT model, okay? BANT stands for buyer, authority, needs, and timeline, okay? BANT. Now, what we always want to do when we're collecting leads is we want to focus on the questions. We want to initially build our lead form around questions that disqualify folks. What types of customers do we need? If we're only looking to work with companies that are doing over $1 million a year in revenue, then we want to make sure to ask that question. Now let's go into this. Now, buyer. Buyer goes into questions such as, do you have the budget? Do you have the budget, right? Now, other ways of asking, you know, so the first thing is, sorry, it's budget, authority, needs, timeline. Sorry, folks, I messed that up. But this is the most important question. Now, it's not always, this usually comes towards the end of whatever forms you are going to ask people for. But in a lot of cultures, it's not like socially acceptable to ask people, you know, how much money do you have, or what's your budget? You know, it's like, how much are you willing to spend to solve this, you know, problem? Usually, that doesn't always work, you know, especially if you're in a niche where, I don't know, there's a lot of companies competing, and, you know, maybe there's slimy salespeople or whatever. So what are other ways that we can ask this question of, do you have the budget? Well, you can ask about revenues. You can ask about employees. How many employees do you have? You know, you can ask other questions such as, you know, what is your job position? Okay. Now, questions like this can get you in trouble, though. I've met a lot of single person companies. I've met a lot of people who consider themselves the CEO, the chief executive officer, the officer of all the executives, you know, and purportedly the executives are managing directors, and the directors are managing, you know, managers, and the managers are managing employees, right? You know, you'd think a CEO is a big freaking deal, right? There's 5 layers of, you know, there's 4 layers of middle management there, something like that. Right. So that can be a false positive, because I've met a lot of CEOs who literally have nobody in their company. They don't have any managers, directors, executives, etc. They're just, so you have to be careful about questions, because you can get false positives if you're just looking to work with CEOs, for instance, right? Because people use this term in a different format now. They don't use it in the way it was originally intended. Does that make sense, folks? Guys, slam the like button. Give me some reactions if this makes sense. Now, other questions you can ask are, you know, other ways you can segment to see if folks have a budget is little sneakier ways. You can ask them to use a business email, right? And if somebody doesn't use a business email, well, you can assume that they're not part of a very important company, okay? Or maybe they don't necessarily work for the company. They're just a sales agent or a contractor, right? So there's various ways we can figure out if our customer, if our prospect has the budget, without even asking, you know, do you have the budget, or using some weird predictive thing. Now, the next thing is authority. To ask better questions, we want to know if the person is this person a decision maker? Okay. And you can straight up ask folks, do you make decisions on whatever the product or service is that you're looking to actually sell? Maybe you're selling loans or payday loans or this or that, right? So how would you ask that in other ways? Well, you can ask somebody straight up, the do you make the decisions on this product category for your household or for your company? There's a lot of you'll save a lot of time if you make sure that everybody involved in making the decision gets on the phone or the Zoom call or whatever you do to generate leads in your company, straight up. Needs. Now, the way we ask, the needs question, I'll show you an example from one of our own forms, is, and let me get up my little pen here. Let's see this. So we, when folks are interested in, one of my companies is a mentorship company, and we ask them, do they have a need? What are you, what's the issue? Right? So we're asking, what are your needs? What are your needs? And I'm going to show a little analysis of the answers to this question in just a second here. I'll let you guys try to guess which one of these questions, 1, 2, 3, oh my gosh. Which one of these questions do you think gets the best leads? Okay. Which one of these questions? We have A, B, C, and D. Which of these questions, which answer do you think creates the most interested folks? Right? Which of these answers? Right? I'll let you guys type in the letter A, B, C, or D in the chat to see if you can figure out what creates the best leads. Okay? Or who are the most motivated folks? Now let's go into now let's go into a little bit of an analysis here. So here I'm going to show you, let's bring up my thing. Yeah, so here's the actual data. So I actually ran data on what answers have the biggest effect here. And we'll go in here and look at this. So what you'll see is that the folks that are most interested in really learning how to do affiliate marketing are folks that are, if you answered, what was this answer? If you answered, I'm currently a business owner looking to create a new income stream, those are the most motivated folks to learn how to do affiliate marketing, whether they're looking to learn how to do affiliate marketing as a supplement to their own income in their business, or, as an additional income stream as a way of maximizing monetization in their business, or they're just, maybe their business is fading out or whatever it is. You can see we ran just some simple numbers here. But what you'll also notice is that in really figuring out lead segmentation, you have to take multiple factors into account. You'll also notice that the amount of people that are business owners looking to create a new income stream are very small compared to other segments. So if we got rid of everyone, we just have to, if we got rid of everyone except business owners that were interested in, my mentorship program, for instance, we'd be operating a much smaller business. So you kind of have to make these judgment calls based on your sales team capacity and who they're interested in talking to and stuff like that. But what you also see here is that these numbers, that if you look at leads, and I had to blur out my actual lead factors, and guys, give me some reactions if you enjoy or like this video, if you enjoy seeing data, right? Real data from my businesses. These are, I did not prepare this. I just blacked everything out for this presentation. One of the things I'm trying to do with this channel is bring you guys deep into marketing, right? Bring you guys into the data, into the analysis. I scored perfect on my SATs when I was going to college, you know, and SAT is kind of like the entrance exam that takes you into you know, where it figures out how good of a college you can get to in America. And I've always loved math. My brain, I've always been a left brain thinker, and I've always been into math. And when and marketing, I approach marketing from a math mindset. It's all about data. And again, it's why I'm going so deep on, you know, a lot of folks don't understand that if you just understand third grade math, multiplication, addition, and segmenting things properly and building things out properly, you can really do any analysis you want in marketing. And I think so many folks, I'm seeing it, are just thinking of AI as this kind of like Jesus take the wheel sort of magical solution, but it isn't if you don't do your marketing right or set it up right in the first place. Now, we were able to make some good insights based off of the responses and the variance in responses here. Now, you'll see this, for instance, whatever this response is, was a very poor response. And you'll see that it's a negative 50%. These leads that answered whatever this question is are 50% less interested, or over 50% less interested in getting our, you know, in moving forward with our mentorship program. So we have to take these things into account if we want to create a consistent lead. But there's even bigger problems that can come into play if you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to do the Jesus take the wheel, you know, AI Jesus take the wheel on your marketing. Okay. So how can everything go wrong with predictive lead scoring? Okay. How can everything go wrong? Well, everything can go wrong. Messy data. What is messy data? What is messy data? Well, messy data can be such things such as people lying and saying they are a CEO when literally they are not the chief executive officer of any other executives or officers or directors or managers in a company. Okay? And the reality is we live in a, you know, the world's been getting more and more godless over time, and lying has become, you know, almost commonplace in today's society. We look at Instagram and we look at what people post, and, you know, it's all false and veneer and all this sort of stuff. So lying on forms is a very common thing nowadays. So you can get messy data from people lying because it's very standard, unfortunately, in today's world. Is lying haram? Is lying considered haram? Muslim, my Muslims in the audience, let me know. I'm not sure. I know in India, lying is not considered a bad thing. It's circumstantial, right? And I think that's kind of where Western society is moving to. How else can you get messy data? Bad data imports. I know this sounds so banal, but it's serious. Bad data imports, not formatting files correctly and bringing those files in. Bad data imports, bad data integrations. Right. So this could be as simple as if somebody uses a comma in, you know, in a form, and for whatever reason, Zapier or whatever you're using to integrate data doesn't pick up on commas or tabs or whatever correctly, you could literally have just bad data going in. And we know the saying, right? Who here can predict what saying I'm going to give you guys? Bad data in, bad data out. Okay. Bad data in, bad data out is kind of I'd say the that should be the thumbnail, right? It's that's I'd say the most important thing here. You know, bad questions, you're gonna get bad prospects. You know, bad questions, bad leads, etc. Where else can this go wrong? Okay, well, data enrichment gone wrong, and we're going to go into a few data enrichment. And who here knows what data enrichment is? Type in yes if you do, type in no if you don't, and if you don't run a lead gen company, don't respond, because, I mean, you know, why would you know what data enrichment is if you're not running a company or working with companies that generate leads? I don't know. Maybe you just like coming on this channel to learn marketing. Well, touche. Thank you for being here. So bad data, data enrichment gone wrong. Okay. And we're going to go over some data enrichment companies right here. Let's go. Oh, and one more factor before I get into data enrichment gone wrong, because data enrichment is very powerful. Form spam. Form spam. So predictive lead scoring can go wrong if people spam your forms. Now, how might you get form spam? Well, if you have a large affiliate program, if you allow any affiliates into your program, you're probably going to get form spam. Okay, if you're working on a CPA network or a pay-per-call network or one of these sorts of things, you can get a lot of form spam. If you have a ton of competitors, or if you have people that are using your form as a way to get deeper in contact with your company for whatever reason, and you just have people spamming your forms, this will throw off any predictive AI. Again, you get bad data in, you get people lying, bad data imports, bad data integrations, form spam, data enrichment gone wrong. All of these things can lead to predictive AI actually working against you, because again, what you did, instead of trying to ask good questions, you let Jesus take the wheel, the AI Jesus, and you just messed, and now everything's kaput. So let's go into, where were we going? On a side note, I found it really funny. These companies, you know, these companies are selling data enrichment for $40,000 a year, you know, is what other folks are paying for data enrichment. And I mean, these are huge companies. I was looking at some of the providers, or some of the, where do we have it here? Well, I was looking at some of the clients of these companies, and it's absolutely, you know, you have multi, you know, 1,000-person companies using, you know, these really expensive, you know, data enrichment stuff, or sorry, predictive lead stuff. And again, you've heard my assessment of it. I think there's a lot of ways you can just do it better. You can basically, you basically don't need predictive AI to figure out if a lead is good. Usually, in most cases, you can just ask a better question and kick people out of your process if it doesn't make sense. So how can we enrich our data? What if we are only getting maybe a name, a phone number, and an email from our lead provider? For instance, if you're buying leads, you know, if you're working with somebody that's maybe running a lead selling business through, you know, Bobberdo, or, you know, if you're working with a lead provider that sells you leads through something like Leadspedia, right? There's a lot of sales teams that are working with companies like these for, I don't even call these leads, you know, I call it data, but a lot of people, how can you make that better? Well, we can make data better by using data enrichment services like Pipple, okay? Now, Pipple, I was using this in one of my prior companies, and what you do is you can upload, you can give them an email, and let's see if there's any resources. Basically, you give them an email and you can get credit score. You can get the estimated credit score. You can get the whether that person is a homeowner or not, whether that person is owns a car. You can get information on whether that person where that person lives, what their address is, what other emails are associated with their actual email address. Maybe you need to contact that person multiple ways. You can figure out you can ask Pipple. You put in an email address of your leads, and you can get who is their spouse, right? Who are they married? Are they married or engaged, or do they have kids? All of this stuff happens. Again, these companies, this company that I'm showing you, and many of the companies that I'm going to show you in these sessions are what I call behind the scenes companies that make marketing work. I would be surprised if anybody here in this audience has ever heard of Pipple before. But when you really get down in the nitty gritty of marketing, a lot of stuff is done behind walls, especially stuff dealing with data because there are regulations there. But the reality is data itself is a cowboy industry right now. And, it's a really powerful thing. Another interesting company that you can use to enrich data is something like this, which is called CRS. And what you can do is, a lot of businesses need to figure out what a person's exact credit score is. And what this is called is doing a soft credit pull. Have you folks heard of a soft pull? Who here has heard of soft pull, right? Type in yes if you have, type in no if you haven't. A soft pull on somebody's credit is, for instance, when you're going to get a loan or when you're going to get a credit card or something like this, they're just going to check, they're going to ping. It's not going to affect your credit report if you actually have good credit. And you can use APIs like this right here to literally figure out somebody's credit, to literally figure out how expensive their home is, if they have a mortgage, if they own a car, if they have a loan on their car. All of this information you can figure out working with some of these APIs in the background of your business and with your data. Of course, all this stuff takes custom development, but again, if you're running a company and you need better leads, or you need your salespeople more informed of the leads, this is going to be very powerful to helping you make your salespeople happier, right? Get them better data, give them more data. Better data, a more informed salesperson or business development person is going to be a better closer at the end of the day. Now, how else can we enrich data if we don't want to work with an API? If we don't want to get custom programming and all this stuff? Well, there are ways, and I'll show you two of them right here. So one of the ways is buying data, okay? So this is a company I've used multiple times. It's called usbizdata.com, okay? And usbizdata, and this has some of the cheapest data I've ever seen. So for instance, if I'm running, let's say I'm doing a lead gen company that, I want to talk to, the owners of, boat deal. I want to talk to boat dealers, right? I want to talk to boat dealers, right? We can buy that data. We can buy that data. We have 40,000 business records here, and we can buy that data for, folks, guess, how much do you think we will spend to buy 40,000 records of business owners? Oh, oops, I can't show it. I just showed it. Sorry, guys. How much would you guess? For those of you who didn't see the price, how much would you guess we can buy 40,000 pieces of data on boat dealers with the company name, The contact information, their street address, their URL, their phone number. How much would you guess we could get all this data for? Okay. Well, the answer is a low $27. Okay, right there. $27 we can get all that data for. And what I love about this site is almost everything is $27. Okay, it's kind of nuts. We can get lawyers and attorneys, right? We have 1.6 million business records. And again, $27. Okay, 1.6 million business records for $27. And, you know, now I don't know how they got this information, but frankly, I don't think they got it the traditional way. But it's really useful, and it's probably the best pricing I've ever seen on data. The next level of actually getting data is it's not something you can use or you can sell to or anything like this. Again, you always have to be compliant. I'm not a lawyer. You could be compliant with laws, but there's a lot of data breaches. And there's marketers out there. There's big marketers. There's startups that have raised hundreds of millions of dollars that have investors such as Google Ventures and stuff like that that are using breached data seriously. And all of this data is, you know, we have the LinkedIn database, right? We have the US voter database. You know, I'm not going to bring that up because I don't want to be banned. Right, here's the Philippines voter database. You know, we have, you know, just Zoosk, you know, 23 million records from the Zoosk database. We have 172 million records from the Zynga database. And, you know, it includes, you know, emails, passwords, phone numbers, and usernames. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this because, frankly, that data costs a quarter, right? These are breach data, a lot of for free. But the point being is there's a lot of data, there's a lot of ways you can enrich your data, disqualify your data using questions and just creating better logic rather than having to go into gray zones. But if you are a company doing funding or doing risk analysis like insurance or maybe cybersecurity or something like this, where it's not a straight yes or no answer if somebody's going to be a good fit for your company, then predictive lead scoring is going to work great for you. And you can work with tools like HubSpot. There's going to be a link in the description. You can work with tools like Typeform, which again I showed earlier on, to actually figure out how to properly segment your data. I hope this has been a helpful lesson. I get excited about lead scoring because I think it's, you know, my personal view is I think there's all these big words in marketing that are used to sell softwares that cost unbelievable amounts of money, when the reality is people should really just become better marketers and have a better understanding of how marketing works and understand the basics of marketing rather than going for rather than allowing, you know, these beautiful big words that have AI or predictive always attached to them. We have to go down to the first principles of marketing and what works, okay? And not get caught up in some of these big words all the time. And if we really understand as marketers how this stuff works, we're going to be better. Now, part of the reason I'm doing these long streams, and by the way, any questions people have, ask them in the chat. One of the reasons I do these long streams is because I really feel that marketing knowledge has gone off and folks do not understand the nuances of marketing anymore like they used to. So all the marketers I know are remote, but there's something that's missing in learning the skill of marketing since everyone's moved to remote. It's harder than ever for folks to actually get the knowledge to become skilled in crafts where everyone works remote. Because we're scared to ask those stupid questions maybe, or because, you miss out on some of the nuances that only will come up in a video that's 40 minutes long rather than a 5-minute long video that from a YouTuber that's biased and hitting a keyword, or from a blog post that's biased and ranking because it's run by a company that has an incentive to sell you predictive lead scoring software for $40,000 a year. I want to help folks actually understand the little nuances. And if you're interested in understanding those nuances and continuing to become a better, more powerful marketer as a skill, not just looking for hacks. I've posted a lot of hacks. One hack is this, the money gun. I know you guys wanted that. One of the hacks is, or what was I talking about? Yeah, learn a skill, right? So that was the big thing. And if you like that, if you enjoy it, make sure to subscribe to my channel and enable all notifications, because now they're making it harder for these things. Subscribe to my channel, enable all notifications to get notifications of my future live streams. If you want to learn how to do affiliate marketing, there's also links in the description where you can apply and learn from me, learn from former students of mine. We'll help you set up campaigns. We'll show you the whole model. We have softwares. We're going to purchase the websites for you and do all this stuff and help you get profitable. If you're interested in partnering with me on a business and you have time and you have a skill, whether it's programming or preferably some sort of technical skill, then there's a partnership form in the description too. I'm looking to work with a few folks. I now have this, big mansion I live all alone in, and I have a lot of time. So I'm looking to crush and build software. So let me check the chat and see what is and see what's going on in there. Let's go. And let me know your thoughts, guys. Here we go. Where's my chat? Here's my chat. Doesn't that go against GDPR 20? Okay. Can you buy that data and add them to a newsletter for pitching? So if you are, dude, you're asking questions that so can you buy breached data like this stuff or like this and just freely email them and pitch them? The answer is no, I'm pretty sure no. Maybe if you're North Korea, they don't care, but you need, I believe the laws are like, you have to have somebody opt in and there needs to be agreements if you're buying data. I'm just showing y'all, I'm showing y'all cowboy stuff here in the world of marketing. But if you want to actually, I'm showing this for data enrichment purposes, not for actually messaging, so I guess you guys are still getting some hacky stuff here. If selling an MMO course, a make money online, so here, I'll go into the other questions. So we have, okay, questions. If selling a make money online course, in the ads, could you even tell them the price to pre-frame them, or just ask the right questions in the forums? You could do both. You could absolutely do both. It always depends on the level of trust that you have with people. So for instance, I'm willing to be very upfront and tell folks my mentorship program, it starts at $5,000. Okay. People are not, we have students that the only folks people are working with are students of mine who are earning or who have earned over $10,000 in a month from affiliate marketing. So, but in some businesses, right, there's a lot of competition. And, if folks want to work with me, they want to work with me and my team. I'll be upfront about these things. But for businesses where you're selling maybe I don't know, like, yeah, predictive, these predictive lead generation software, they're not saying the price here. Notice that. They're not, Salesforce will not tell you the price. HubSpot is not telling you the price because it's a lot of money. And some folks will get sticker shock, right? They're getting people into the process. And the other reason why companies like HubSpot and Salesforce and, Microsoft Ignite and Lean Data and, these companies will not tell you the price is because oftentimes the person that fills out these forms is not actually the decision maker. Okay. They need, and this person would get sticker shock. So in this case, these companies need to get up to the C level. So they're trying to attract a marketing manager. And they're trying not to scare that marketing manager away, or that product manager, or the, chief revenue officer. They're trying not to scare these folks away saying, hey, we're $50,000 a year, right? And people say, they're trying to get folks in the process so they can work up to unveiling the price. Okay, it's very similar to dating. Okay, now if you went out to the bar and every girl you met, you said, hey, I'm looking to get married. I'm only looking for a long-term relationship. I'm only looking to get married. You might scare off some folk, some women that, or if you ask them the question, are you looking to get married with whatever man you meet? You might scare away a large part of the audience that might actually be interested if you hadn't asked them that question. Does this make sense, folks? Does that make sense? Type in a hoorah if it makes sense. Right? So that's the other trick with doing lead generation is you don't want to scare away these folks. Okay. So it's a balancing act. Again, in every situation, I'm sorry for that answer, Winners Club, but it's a balancing act. If you have trust, right? It's fine. Right? It changes things. Can you run a lookalike audience to it? So, good question. So, guys, I need some more reactions. Okay. So, the question was, can you run a lookalike audience to data that you buy? I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer, and I think there's if you read the terms and conditions of Facebook and Google, they'll say that you actually this data needs to be data you own. But I'll tell you from my perspective, I've absolutely bought data and used it as a lookalike audience and done great. Now, some of my early success in affiliate marketing actually came from uploading data and using lookalike audiences. And this is when I was doing affiliate marketing for skincare products. And I didn't know the targeting. I don't use skincare. I actually recently started part of my morning routine is I'll wash my face with soap. And when I go to bed, I'll wash my face with soap again. My honest opinion is, like most skincare, you just need to wash your face with soap, in the morning, at night, and you'll be fine. But I think a lot of skincare is I don't get me started on it. I think there's a lot of consumerism that just doesn't make sense, honestly. But at this time I was selling skincare products, I didn't know who to target. And what I did was I met an offer owner. I met the owner of a skincare company at Affiliate Summit. And Affiliate Summit is a conference I encourage everyone to go to. Let's bring this up here. Affiliate Summit is the biggest conference in affiliate marketing in the United States. And every year they have a conference in in Las Vegas and one in New York. The other big affiliate marketing conference is Affiliate World Summit. And for folks interested, if you are a company watching this and you're interested in starting an affiliate program, find a way to get in contact with me because, you know, we're building an affiliate network and I give a lot of help on that. I also have a big audience of affiliates. Now, I met this offer owner at Affiliate Summit and I asked him if he could give me some of his customer data for a lookalike audience. I was surprised he did. He gave me a few thousand records of skincare buyers. And I uploaded them to Facebook. And to my disbelief, it worked. And I scaled that campaign from a few $100s a day to sending over to earning over $30,000 a day from promoting a skincare product. And all I did was I moved up from a 1% lookalike audience to a 3%, to a 5%, to a 10%, and just uncapped budgets. And that campaign changed my life. I remember I was living in an apartment at this time with my best friend in Santa Monica. His name's Arturo. And we were, we were going to the bar with some of our buds. And, we're waiting for our buddies to come over to our spot. We had a pretty nice spot. And I was just checking the phone. And one of my broke friends came by and he's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Oh, this is I'm looking at my earnings, how much I made. And I said, "Look at the number." And I showed him the number. It was something like, maybe it was like 7,000. And I said, "Just wait 5 minutes. Wait 5 minutes and I'll show you what's going on." I refreshed it. 5 minutes later, and it was like 7,300. It was like I'd made $300 I was making a couple $100 every few minutes. And he was like, is that how much money is in your bank account? I said, "No, dude, that's how much money I earned today." Right. And that was my first $10,000 day. That's how I remember it. Dude, shut up. That's how I remember that day, because it was the first day I'd earned $10,000. Let me tell my dog to shut up and I'll answer a few more questions. Dude, no, shut up. Gotta be firm with these dogs. So I'm a big proponent of that, using a lookalike audience with actual data. And I showed you a couple spots you can get some great data. Huda. What other questions are going on? Otherwise, I'm going to end this stream. I'd love to get some of your reactions and your honest thoughts on how you like the format of these. We're going into deeper topics of marketing with this channel moving forward, because I love marketing. But I think the basics and understanding the basics of marketing, as well as the nuances within the basics, because so much of this is nuances, is the most important thing anybody can do. And I encourage everyone to subscribe to this channel if you're watching and you're not subscribed, because, the algorithm. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. Did you have Gen Zers are bringing their parents? Are you using AI chatbots in your business? Okay. So another question is, am I using AI chatbots in my business? And I have used AI chatbots in my business, particularly in integration with Go High Level and Instagram DMs. But I found Instagram has a lot of low quality prospects, and I didn't really want to go there. It just wasn't backing out well enough. But AI chatbots are great. But again, if you're doing a complex sale, in my business, I'd say my one consumer-facing business is the mentorship program I offer to aspiring affiliate marketers. And that business is a life decision. It's a life decision. Whenever folks are trying to think of a new career or something like that, a path to go on, it's a large life decision. It's a relationship. And using chatbots would demean the value there. Uh, I want to be honest with people in my business, and I have seen other people in the space, what the business opportunity space, use chatbots for these purposes, but you have to really push the line and become uncompliant to have these chatbots do what, have the intended effect. I prefer to stick to long form advertising, podcasts, infomercials, and stuff like that. Okay. Instead of a lead form, you can have an AI chatbot qualify leads. It would be more human for the prospect. Absolutely. Using AI chatbots as a lead form, basically, because that's what you're saying you'd use them for, you're still going to structure the data in a certain way, is a very interesting idea. And a lot of people are using chatbots for these purposes. One company I highly recommend for chatbots is BB9. Now, this is going to set you back about $1,000 a month to work with this. But from what I've seen, this is the only effective chatbot that can actually get the job done and convert prospects to buyers. Okay, if you don't have $1,000 a month to afford on software, you're probably not running a company, right? And everything's going to bifurcate soon. Either you're going to be rich and making a lot of money and have a big company, or you're not. The world is going to get harder and harder to become, quote unquote, independent in. Either you're going to scale. The middle ground is being cut out by AI, and as jobs and layoffs continue to go away. So either you're figuring out how to scale up quickly. This whole idea of lifestyle businesses is going to get more and more and more difficult as time marches forward. Okay. So the time to strike and make it big is now. Go beyond your number, right? Live epically. Okay. Apart from the data of lookalike, can you combine that data with results to see results in affiliate marketing? Okay. I'll do some affiliate videos soon. Folks, great to talk to everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Slam that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Maybe the next video I'll see you guys in the next video. All the best. Let's go. Peace.